everyone, my name is Ozomobi. I'm the convener for Through Men Conference and also the founder of Through Men Foundation, a foundation that helps train, transform, and enhance the abilities of young women, helping them discover themselves, restructure their dreams, and also transform their lives and society at large. True Men's Conference, this is the second edition of the True Men's Conference Becoming More. Becoming More, the second edition of the True Men Conference depicts resilience of the young woman and her abilities to harness that for growth, development, and also upgrade in her career and scaling in life. Speaking on getting things done, planning and time management. Now, when you talk about getting things done means states planning and actually carrying out those slated plan, putting them into actions. Okay, very quickly, when we say planning, what comes to mind? As basic as thinking to yourself when you're at work, I just want to get home. When I get home, I'll take a shower, eat, and just zap out. That's as basic as planning can get. But let's step it up a little. Um, when we say planning, or the kind of planning that we actually want you to imbibe from this conference, is the kind of planning that helps you achieve more, scale higher, and become a better person in your career, your dreams, your goals, and your ambition thereabout. Which brings us to what Phil Hammond said about planning, which is deciding what is to be done in advance. Deciding what is to be done in advance. Sometimes you're like, okay, I want to do this by this time. I want to get this done. That's as basic as planning can go. Alright, but we'll be looking at time management also. Planning and time management. Planning helps you predict the future. I know it might sound like off or something, but when you plan, you can actually prepare for different possible outcomes of how which a situation can occur or can take place. When you plan, you know what to expect. You're not swept away by uncertainties and unforeseen circumstances. Even the surprises that happen aren't even surprises at all because you include them in your plans. I don't know if we all follow this very trending series, Money Heist, where a lot of the heists that occurred successfully was as a result of the ability to plan effectively, carry out those plans. They even planned for a failed plan. For you to see that we cannot take away planning from success or achieving success, which brings us to how we manage our time. When we say time management, the first thing we have to look at is, okay, what does the bulk of our time actually goes into? What do I spend my time mostly doing? What takes a bunch of my time? What does all of my time and energy go into? These are questions that we might find it very difficult to ask ourselves, but these are things that we need to pay attention to. A lot of us are 9 5ers, and then when we come back, most of us are tired, and then we find it very, very what's the word now? We find it very difficult to actually start, going towards our plans and what we actually scheduled for that day because we're like, I'm tired, I just want to rest, I just want to hit the bed. Now, I've heard a lot of people say, I don't like planning because I end up not sticking to it. I don't like drawing up a to-do list because I never accomplish anything on the list. Well, these are the issues that the conference is here to fix today and it's here to treat. Now, not to give any box office any credit or any of that, we know that a lot of the plans the movie Money Heist actually scheduled were carried out. They actually mailed out all their plans. That is understandable. But just as you plan to succeed or carry out your plan, you need to also be prepared that sometimes you might hit a roadblock, and you also plan for your failing measures. I like to call it failing measures because sometimes we we don't actually have the logical state of mind to say that okay, this thing can actually not go the way we plan. But when we plan for other possible outcomes by which our goals can actually be accomplished, we don't see failure as a way to give up. We actually see it as one way that it did not work out, and then we can try other means to actually achieve this outcome. And then before you know it, you're actually hitting your list, and then you're moving, you're scaling, you're smashing those goals. Because failure is part of the winning process. We cannot overemphasize the fact that you failing at something doesn't make you a failure. You failing at something only showed you another way to actually try it out. If you fail at something, keep doing it. Okay, yesterday, I think that was the day before, I actually watched a YouTube conference by the CEO of Zenith Groups Nigeria. He made mention of a lot of things that actually plague entrepreneurs, where he said that we actually tell people to not stop at failing and then keep trying. And he made mention of something very striking. I seem to agree with him. He made mention of he said we always say, which is very true, don't, when you fail, try again. And he gave a very, 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 very outstanding example. He said, for example, you want to start up your business, and then you have ideas, and then but you are cash strapped, and then your financial is quite low for what you want to do. And then here comes the banks with their awesome loan policies, and then they tell you, okay, you can, and then you go, okay, you can do this, you can get a loan for this, you can do this and get a loan, you can get a loan by this and all of that. And then you just take this opportunity and you go ahead to take a loan, and then your business does not yield the kind of profit that you picture in mind. Remember, at that moment you're failing at something. So because we say don't see failure as a roadblock, you don't stop, try again and all of that. Then he cited something very very, very exceptional. He said down here in Nigeria, you take a loan from the bank and then you fail, you can't go back and take a loan from the bank. They'll put you in prison actually, because you cannot pay back your loan. That's where we find ourselves in. So that is why you also plan for when you fail. And another RSA cited something very striking in managing finances. That's not what we're talking about today, but it also talks about you not even taking a loan when you want to start up a business and all of that, because that's, if you're taking a loan, you must have a backup plan for your loan. That's what we're talking about. You put the plans in the procedures of the an outcome of failure. If this didn't turn out the way it's expected, this is my backup plan. This is my backup plan. This is what I would do when it doesn't work out the way I want. This is how I would take things go. You even move forward to planning for your failures. Most people just say, okay, I'm all positive. Yes, which is very good and it's a necessary energy for all that you want to accomplish. But you also plan for your failing strategies by which you can boycott what happens when things don't work out the way you expect them to. It's time management. In time management, like I mentioned earlier, what actually takes the bunch of your time? If you look at it in our generation today, I would say the internet, because you come back and then you plan to do this, and once you grab your phone, you've lost track of time, and before you know it, you're like, I'm super tired, I want to head off to bed. That's one way that you have just exhausted hours and time. So the first thing you need to look into when you want to manage your time and actually be more successful and achieving with your goals and plans is to look into things that actually take a bunch of your time. What are the things that takes a bunch of my time? Restructure those things and find out means by which you can set aside those things for a have a secluded time where you do all of that, and make sure it's almost at your free time. Like when I go through my phone to chat or do all of that is when I know that okay, I'm about going to bed. I've done most of what I want to do, and it's time for me to go to bed. And then and I'm like replying chats and all of that. But you do not allocate time that you're supposed to um achieve a particular task. You do not allocate those time to replying mails and messages and all of that and all of that. No. These are time where you're supposed to stay focused on that task and achieve this. I'm going to be highlighting bullet points by which we can actually manage our time. First point we're going to be looking at is change your sleep in and wake up hour. For me, um my work resumes at 9 to 6. So and for a very for some time back, I used to wake up by 7, you understand, and then do my devotion and all of that and all some certain things I need to do and then get ready for work. Okay. Now I discovered that I wasn't achieving a lot, especially towards my blogging. Yes, I own a writing blog where I write articles, motivation and all of that. So I noticed that I wasn't progressive the way I want towards the blog. So I decided to change my sleeping and my wake up hour. So I usually I sleep I'm a late sleeper. So I decided that okay, instead of me doing so thing rather while I'm awake, why not I use it to actually achieve some of these things that I want. So in the morning what I do is just I'm just posting. I'm just posting why because a bunch of or a chunk of what I want to actually write has been done in the night. A bunch of what I want to do has already been done in the night hour. Do you understand? That's for me who knows how to stay up late at night. For some persons who don't know how to, they're not good at staying up late at night and all of that. Okay, fine, you're an early sleeper. Take in the time, sleeping early, but you have to change all of that because if you spend all of your time sleeping and yes, getting that beauty sleep, well, I cannot say. Even the Bible says, "So shall your poverty come." Like a thief. So basically, a little sleep, a little slumber. So we need to look at our sleeping and wake up time. What time do you go to bed? What time do you wake up? Should I sacrifice a little of this time to actually get the necessary things that I need to get? This is one of the things we need to look at when we talk about time management. Another point we'll be looking at is eliminating half work. By half work, I mean you are at a task and then you're thinking of other tasks that you've not done. It actually affects your productivity and then your demand level effectiveness for that particular task that you're taking on. So and then you're thinking, oh my god, I need to do this, I need to do that, I need to do this, and then you are at a task, you are at a task, you are currently doing something, and then oh I've not done this, oh I've not done this. Your mind is everywhere. You're not focused on the task at hand. How then can you say that your productivity level in that particular task you can get? How can you say that you can give your best to the particular task at hand when your mind is everywhere? That's why I said eliminate half work. At that point in time, focus on the task that you are. If you remember those things that you need to do and then you're like, oh I don't want to forget this thing, that's why we have online calendars and we have timers on our calendars. Just put it down. After this, give yourself, put the task at hand, give yourself a specificated time by which the task at hand should be done. Put it in the timer and the calendar there. By so time I want to be done with this task. Then there's a reminder, do this. If it's go and pick up my kids. By so time, go and pick up my kids. If it's go and deliver that goods. By 3 p.m., go deliver that goods. So it doesn't matter what you're doing. You know that by 3 p.m., what you owe the tax is deliver this. That way you are properly focused on the task at hand, and then it helps you to achieve more and give your best to whatever you're doing. Change your schedule. Another point I'm sharing with us today is change your schedule. Some of us are so rigid to a particular way, and even when the way is not working, we are rigid to change. Please, auntie, change your schedule. If you know that it's not giving you your desired result, this schedule is not working for me, it's not helping me get the kind of result that I want to get, there's no harm in changing. Change is one thing that is super constant in life, and it's a very paramount aspect of one's growth. Change. You cannot grow if you are adamant to change, because renovations and ideas will keep coming in daily, and if you are streamlined to one way of things, you cannot be as effective as you ought to be and able to be, because this conference is about becoming more. You, yes, you are good and you're doing fine, but there's a more to that fine that is you. Another point we're going to be looking at is, I think I mentioned it when I was trying to explain eliminating half works, is online calendars. And by, oh, okay, let me not say online, okay, Google calendars to be precise. You know, some of us use Apple products, we also have that too. In Apple's form, we have Apple calendars. Basically, technology has made life so easy that we can actually achieve more with doing less. You understand? And managing our time has a lot to do with that. Managing our time has a lot to do with that. So we can use online calendars, use Google calendars. I make use of Google calendars because, like I mentioned earlier, I'm a blogger. Yeah, I'm a blog writer. I do blog writing, and then I noticed that, like I said, I'm not as effective as I want to be with my blog posting or my writing and everything. So I'm at work. I'm unable to send stuff during the day. I'm unable to do as much post that I want to do. But I'm at work. My timer says by 12 o'clock, you should have done this. That means if by 12 o'clock, if I've not posted, I'm wrong, right? I'm wrong. So that's on my timer. And then I know that once, even if I'm trying to rush up with the day though, and then I see that alarm by 12, or that stuff calling out to me, I'm like, oh my god, I need to do this. As swamped as I am with work, I find a way to excuse myself for 10, 7, 9 minutes and do the needful. Why? Because I've already ensured that even in as much as my day can go crazy, I've put in place structures that can actually draw me out in a busy day and say, auntie, do this. You need to do this. Why? Because these are structures that are already in place. So the idea of timers and Google calendars cannot be overemphasized when you are talking about time management. Another striking point is stop being perfect. I'm going to use myself as a case study in this case. Okay, I make clothes. Yes, I'm also a fashion designer. And last month, I had a client pick a design, a very simple design, and to have me make the design. And then all of my mind was like, okay, this is super simple. But I did the design, I delivered it, but I felt there was this feeling of, I don't know, it was weird. I felt that I was like under my abilities, and then I was like, okay, what am I going to do about this? So I sent my design to a friend of mine who, she looked at the design, and then she looked at the picture of what the client wanted, and then she was like, they are the same. What's the problem? And I'm like, I think it's not perfect enough. And she was like, please, the job is okay. It's perfect. Deliver it. And then I felt okay. And then I did. Like we have a schedule day where we deliver clients work, and then I delivered the work, and then the client was very very happy about the job and all of that. So which brings us to my next point. Before that, let's I felt that it was not perfect. I'd given it my best, but I felt that because the design was simple, it wasn't perfect. So, but the client was happy, and then to them it was perfect because it was simple. I felt that I need to do more. It's not really perfect and all of that. But on the contrary, so I learned from that incident. I learned that sometimes we might not see things the way it actually is, because maybe it's very simple. It was simple for us to do, and then we're like, is it up to, is we really putting our best? We bring us to my next point: outsourcing. Like I had to, like, if I did send that stuff to my friend, I would still be thinking, is this up, and I might not even have sent the job to the client at the scheduled time, because I'll be feeling that it's not up to um you understand, standard and all of that. But because I was able to get an idea from somebody, or actually talk to an expert, a friend, about it, and they could share their ideas about how the design was as the picture which my client wanted. That's what brings us to our next topic, next point rather, which is outsourcing. When you outsource your work, it saves you time, and you have dignity, because you appear as someone who keeps to their word. Now, a lot of persons feel that this job must be done by them. No, auntie, it doesn't have to be you. The idea is that the job needs to get done, and done very well. So there's no harm in outsourcing when you feel that you are swamped with tasks, and then you have limited time to achieve them. You can delegate, have somebody come in and take some parts in the task, and then before you know it, you're done, and then you have achieved a lot in little amount of time. Okay, that will bring us to the end of this session. I hope you were able to take out little points, and um that will help you better manage your time. Thank you for joining this edition of the conference. We hope to see you next year. Have a nice time.